From the corridors of Beijing to the war rooms of Brussels, every nation's ambassador and analyst will be glued to each and every word exchanged in this very meeting. Because the fate of continents may hinge on what's decided and what's left unsaid. Well, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are all set to meet in Alaska. Thousands of kilometers away here in New Delhi, every murmur in that closed-door meeting will also be of utmost importance. This won't be just another diplomatic photo op. For India, the possibility of a thaw between Washington and Moscow carries potentially transformative consequences, not only for its foreign policy calculus, but for energy security, trade, and its role in a turbulent multipolar world. Historically, India has balanced its relations with both superpowers, reaping the benefits of defense and energy ties with Russia, while deepening strategic cooperation with the United States. Yet recent years saw US-Russia tensions escalate to the near Cold War levels, dragging India into a tangle of secondary sanctions, especially concerning its oil purchases from Russia. As US tariffs surge and Western pressure mounts on countries trading with Moscow, India's dependency on discounted Russian oil now accounts for over 40% of its imports. Now the biggest question is, will this Alaska meet yield any substantive progress? Perhaps a ceasefire, easing of sanctions, or at minimum, a framework for normalizing diplomatic ties. But one thing is for sure, ripple effects will be felt instantly in New Delhi. In short term, a stabilized US-Russia relationship would substantially reduce geopolitical risk for India. It would loosen the web of Western sanctions that complicate trade, finance, and defense deals, preserving access to Russian oil at competitive rates and keeping inflation in check back home. If you look at the situation from a long-term perspective, the broad reset could help India reclaim space for the independent strategic choices, with less pressure to pick sides in a polarized system. India will better maintain its cherished strategic autonomy, engaging both Moscow and Washington, leveraging partnerships for technology transfers, counter-terrorism, climate cooperation, and most important, Indo-Pacific security. An end to Russia-Ukraine war, which the Trump-Putin summit aspires to craft, could enable India to focus on its primary challenges, China's assertiveness, while strengthening multipolarity in world affairs. But this new landscape brings its own challenges. If US-led sanctions on Russia are meaningfully lifted, global oil markets could see increased competition for Russian crude. In this situation, India must act quickly to secure appropriate supply levels and not to be caught off guard by European and even American buyers' return to the Russian market. New Delhi will also need to negotiate favorable long-term contracts and possibly invest in midstream infrastructure to preserve its advantageous position. Additionally, even if there is an easing of superpower tensions, India should not be complicit. Defense deals, space cooperation, and nuclear energy agreements with Russia could become more competitive, with other nations seeking new opportunities. But if things go sideways, there will be too much work for Indian diplomacy machinery. So that's why the experts believe India must continue to diversify sources and seek strategic investment in both Russia and US and also beyond. To sum up, for India, the Alaska summit is more than just symbolic. It is an inflection point, a chance to recalibrate alliances, secure vital resources, and manage risk in a world of shifting great power equations. New Delhi must keep a sharp eye on each detail, the diplomatic language, the status of sanctions, and especially the terms of post-summit oil flows, to ensure India's energy security and diplomatic agility are not compromised.